Well, today it's a Porsche. Well, it's a Volkswagen Porsche. This is the 1978 Porsche 924. I actually had this thing out a couple of weeks ago for the first time in a very, very long time. It's a 46,000 mile original car, so it doesn't get out a whole lot. The brake booster wasn't holding any vacuum. If you repeatedly pressed the brake pedal while the vehicle was idling, the idle would surge, leading me to believe that either a diaphragm ruptured or we had a sealing issue. So what I did is I sent it out to get refurbished, because you cannot buy these and haven't been able to for a long time. The 78 924, for whatever reason, has a very, very unique brake booster. So this got sent off. I'm not going to plug the company because it was expensive and whatever. But looks like they did an okay job. It's got a new check valve on it, which is nice. Then this is obviously just some protection. Standard ATE brake booster. Apparently it's got some schmutz on it. And then earlier, the Porsche O-ring is actually no longer available, but I bought, I believe, no, that's the odometer gear. This is for a 1984 BMW 325e. The master cylinder looks like it's about the same size, so I ordered one. We'll see if it fits. I really hope it does. This is a standard 4-bolt brake booster, but the Porsche uses 3 bolts on the perimeter, which is a little bit strange. They're all accessed from the footwell inside. Standard clevis. It's got a little swivel clip on the front of it. I don't know. So at this point, my first step is I've got to move this master cylinder. The lines actually have to come back off. The reason why they're on right now is just to kind of avoid extra leakage. But the lines have to come out of the master cylinder again, and then I have to move it just enough so I can squeeze the booster in there. And then I've got to take my set of nuts, which I believe I left inside on the floorboards. It looks like I did. Yep, whole mess of hardware in here. And then thread those back on with a series of extensions and wobbles and whatnot. Once that's bolted back on, then I can use these nuts and crush washers, bolt the master cylinder back onto it. And then unfortunately, since the system was opened and it's probably due for it anyway, I have to change out the brake fluid. So ever since Super Blue left the country due to the fantastic DOT not liking the blue coloration, I use ATE Type 200 in a daily driver, or I use RBF 600 in a car that's used track duty. But any DOT 3, 4, or 5.1 is fine in a system like this. Just make sure you don't use DOT 5 because it'll ruin the seals. So I have the hard lines off the master cylinder and it's pushed out of the way. And now I gotta grab our booster and slot her back in there. And I don't remember which side is up. Okay, yep, the notch right there goes toward the steering column, so it faces down, which puts us right about here. I'm gonna have to put down the camera to move the throttle cable to get this by, but I'm gonna just shove her right on in there. Boom, there we are. Threaded enough where I can get inside the driver's side footwell now and start threading some hardware on. Luckily, it looks like I actually left I left all the tools for the job here. So that's probably what I'm going to be using for most of the work inside, but I'll pop in there and turn the camera back on so you can see where the service points are. So here we are underneath. There's one stud. The other one is up here by the accelerator pedal cable. Oh my goodness. Sorry, this is top-notch quality video, I know. There it is, right there. And the number 3 might not be able to show you that one. Yep, sorry guys, I can't reach the third one. But you can kind of get an idea. One's down here, one's up top over here, and the other one's right back in here. I can reach it with my hand, but I can't show it to you on the video here. My phone's just a little bit too big. So what I'm gonna do, put the crush washer on first, and then put the nut on and tighten it down, and do that for all three. And then, actually before you do that, you've got your pedal clevis. Wow. I apologize for the bad video, but there's no room down here. There it is. Your pedal clevis needs to straddle the brake pedal. So I actually have to shove the booster out and pull it back in. So make sure it looks like that. And you can actually put in your clip first, which is this guy. So slide it in, and then that piece swings over the brake booster rod. I'll show that to you in just a second here. So there you have it. It slides in this way, and then the tab's actually going to be over here. Then you just swing it up and clip it. I'll just show you. Just like that. So now I'm going to go through and bolt all the hardware together. Hopefully I survive. So I think I actually can show you the third one now. There it is. Right between the yellow wire and the black. So yep, all three of them. There's the lower, the upper is covered up on the right, and down there. They're all tightened down. So now it's back under the hood to put on the new seal and to reinstall the master cylinder. It's kind of cool. Collapsible steering column for crash safety in the 70s. So there we are. The that E33 series seal fits perfect. So the Porsche one you can't get anymore, but they're all the same ATE seal as far as I can tell. It worked great. So everything's tightened back down now. I'm gonna top about halfway up with fluid. Actually, you know what? I have to bleed the brakes. I'm gonna brim this thing with fluid. Then I'm going to take off this old 90-degree here. Looks like the company that rebuilt it and gave me a new check valve, which is good because this one may or may not be good. So I'm gonna try to use that. And after that, I'm just gonna go inside and see if there's any brake pedal at all right now. If there is, great. If not, it doesn't really matter because I'm still gonna have to pull the wheels and tires off of this thing no matter what. It's front disc brakes, even though it's got those silly dust shields in it, and it's rear drum brakes. So bleeding wheel cylinders, oh yeah, whole bunch of fun. Especially well, actually this car's in really good shape. It's probably fine, but step one for me is just going to be putting some fluid in there. Step two, put the vacuum line back on it. And then step three, I'm going to have to bleed the brakes here. But, oh, pardon me. That's a pretty standard procedure, so I'm not going to cover it here. I'm just going to hook my power bleeder up to the top, jack it up, take a wheel off at a time, starting furthest from the master cylinder. So that's going to be the passenger side rear wheel cylinder. Bleed that out, make sure all the fluid's completely exchanged because this is probably 30-year-old brake fluid. Just a little terrifying to think of with how hygroscopic it is. Then I'm going to do rear left, then front right, then front left, finally. And then take your first spin, take some pictures, and then this thing is off to bring a trailer. I guess I do have to throw in that odometer gear first, but I'll do a separate video on that because it's a really common thing with video odometers made in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Anyway, sorry for the slight delay in this week's video, but hey, I still got it there on Wednesday. Thanks for watching.